Hello and welcome to Find Your Freedom, a podcast dedicated to helping you truly find freedom in all aspects of life. Join your hosts and their expert guests as they share practical tips and strategies for finding more freedom in your life. It's time to take control of your life and create the future you want. Let's find your freedom. Here are your hosts, Lenny the Boss and Omid Rad Investor.
Boom, boom, boom. We are back for another amazing episode of Find Your Freedom. And we have a really good guy here today. But before we get into that, we have something free for you, easily downloadable. All you have to do is go to www.findyourfreedom.com/freedom kit. All right. Once again, www.findyourfreedom.com/freedom kit. All right. Listen, we don't have guests here on the show. All we do is friends. But, Omid and I had the opportunity to meet this guy here in Austin, and he's pretty cool dude, like online, but when you meet him in person, you got to throw like an extra 100% on that. But Omid and I, we once again, we was grateful enough to be requested to speak at one of his events, which was the STR Growth Summit. So thank you for that. And I'm gonna tell you just like this. This guy, right? He's our friend. He's our guest. He's one of the leaders in the STR space. All right. He has a thriving STR management company, and he also personalizes in coaching and is a little different from everyone else's. It's the STR Lifestyle Summit Coaching. So let's give a warm welcome to our guy, Travis Bott. What's up, my brother?
What's up, my guys? Thank you so much for having me, both Omid and Lenny. I appreciate you both. Definitely the bosses over here. Happy to be here, my guys. Happy.
Oh, man, we're happy to have you. I know we're going to get into some really cool things, but before we do that, if you could just give a little background on yourself to the audience, that'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. I am a native of Colorado, so I am a diehard Colorado guy. I love it here. I think that it's an amazing place to raise kids, have families, and do business. So I stick hard in Colorado. And from my past, I was raised with a single parent, and I started parenting young. I had my first child when I was 20 years old, and I realized real quickly, I am not good at working for other people. So I started my own business. It started out as a moving company. We got into home theater, and we're doing for about 10 years home theater installs for all the major retailers out there, which was an amazing opportunity. And I'm so happy it happened. Through that journey, we bought our first home. And we bought our first home in the mountains of Colorado because we didn't want to stay in the city. I'm not a city guy. When you're living in Colorado, I feel like it's a waste to be sitting in the city when you have such beautiful mountains right at your doorstep. So we took our family and we moved up to the mountains, bought our first home at the top of a mountain, and it was amazing until I found out that the neighbors had an Airbnb. I took all this money, all this work to go to the top of a mountain to get away from everybody, and then the neighbor was an Airbnb. I was so dismayed. I was so unhappy, was going back and forth with the owners of that house for a while. But then our kids got a bit older, and we were a bit far out for the programs that they were going to in gymnastics and sewing and acting. And we needed to bring the kids closer to the city. So we were still in the mountains, but we moved out of that home. And instead of fighting them, I joined them. And that's how I got my first Airbnb. And they were both Airbnbs. I'll tell you, the neighbors around us loved us because that's when it was kind of the Wild West. And that's how I really got into the short-term rental space, got our first home up there, got out of it, moved somewhere closer to town, and started it up myself. Now, this was the gold rush times when we had COVID, and everybody just wanted to go to destination locations and be with their families. So we really hit it hard, and I realized what an amazing industry that this is and how much potential it had. So that was really my base into, coming from a young parent to getting into the STR space myself. So it's been a fun journey, and I'm definitely so glad. No regrets in this entire thing. It's an amazing industry.
I think that's an amazing story. I mean, you think about entrepreneurship, and I think there's like a sense of pride where you come from, and you kind of, you've been very clear around, this is where I want to live, this is where I'm from, and this is what I like. And through that whole journey, you kind of come across, this awesome property and it ends up being a gold mine in a different way. So walk us through that. Like what when do you decide, hey, I'm gonna test this out? And then as you're going through the motions of actually being a short-term rental operator, when do you decide, hey, this is something maybe I should look into a little bit further besides just renting out the property itself?
100%. Well, so when we got into it, I was like, these neighbors, they're making money. I've got to hop on this. I want to keep this home and keep it available for the family for the long term, because you're not buying homes for the prices that we got back then anymore. The prices are so substantially different. I feel horrible for first-time home buyers. But the reality was, it was the right move for us. And once I saw that income potential and what we would do there, I mean, man, I was cleaning it myself. I was doing everything myself, maintaining the reviews. It was a straight DIY project. And our first year, we brought in over 100K. And this is a 3-bedroom home, 3,000 square foot. So it's nothing major. It's not a huge home. It's a nice space, but it's not huge. And once I saw that potential, I was like, okay, there's something here. And during that same time, the company that I was contracting for, doing my home theater and stuff, they got bought out. And you know what happens when things get bought out? Things change. And needless to say, like, that entire situation changed, that it did not become as friendly, and we ended up selling the company and moving on. So that home turned into our primary source of income for a little bit. And I decided, hey, I got to do more in this industry. There's so much potential, so much money, and it's great. I'm all about hospitality. You know, I've always been a great salesman, and I always work to make sure people are happy and getting what they need. So it was a perfect fit. And I actually went into a large company that's a nationwide company called iTrip Vacations, and I was a business development manager for them. That's when I realized the do's, the don'ts in managing. And I said, I'm going to do this myself. So now I own, I arbitrage, and then I have a full portfolio of homes we manage from Denver all the way to the ski towns of Colorado. So it was really, everything just lined up, and it worked out to get me into an industry where I believe that I could truly find the financial freedom I want while building a portfolio of homes that I own and can build that long-term wealth for the family.
That's super cool. I guess if you can't beat them, then you have to join them, right? So hey, but it's something that you touched on that I want to speak on, and if we could touch on it a little bit. So, you said that you went working for this vacation home place or something. What's the name of the place?
Yeah, it was called iTrip Vacations. And what I was for them is a business development manager. So my entire job was finding new contacts, whether they're renting out as a long term or interested in the market in general, and then getting them to onboard with us, trust our services enough to use our service and become a short-term rental.
But what I enjoy about it is that you said that you learned from them the do's and the don'ts, right? And I want you to talk on this, on how important it is, because you jumped into an industry that you really knew nothing about. The only thing you knew is that your neighbor got people coming in and out, in and out, in and out. And as a business person, you like, that got to mean money, right? That was it. And then you kind of just jumped in head first, but you went to work for someone else to sit here and learn the business, right? Like, a lot of people don't do that these days.
Yeah.
Actually go to work to actually learn a trade and a skill to come back and apply it into their business. So I guess, can you talk on the things that you learned there, which allowed you to take what you learned and apply it to now this new, you understood business, but apply it to this new industry that you're in?
100%. That's a very good question. I think with anything that you get into, the best ability is availability. So I made myself available and ready to go, and in this market where I'm going to hit the ground running. I went into this, the owner had a clear view of what my expectations were and where I was trying to go. So he knew I was coming in wanting to go far and get arbitrages and do this, but it was really about seeing the structure and the setup that they had to run their company successfully. Because getting into this market, picking up your first contracts, that's doable. Now, once you have those contracts in and you're running this, how do you maintain your overall, high ratings, high reviews, and really the SEO on these major platforms? Because I'm all about direct bookings, but with newer companies, these two guys, they're major for us. They are bread and butter in a lot of ways for new startups. But it was just really important to me to immerse myself into a large company where they have found success. They had over 40 doors and saw how they worked it, from cleaners to their maintenance men to customer service and scheduling. And then, dealing with the issues and the stuff that comes up as well, problem mitigation and how to move forward through that while maintaining happy customers. So I really wanted to just get that general overview from somebody that owns it. They've invested a ton into the market and they have found success in this area. And that's what I did. And it really drove me to the point where it's like, oh my God, as you get bigger, you lose quality. And that's what was happening with these guys, is they kept getting bigger and quickly. They wanted me to get on new contracts all the time, which we were, but we were losing quality with that. So a big thing that I learned is, how do we scale our company without losing customer service? Because you will find so many people today that are with these major companies, major brands that put millions and millions into advertising, but the customer service isn't there. You're put on a reel, you're a software program, and you are not individual. You're Lenny the boss, you're Omid. You are the guys that I work with, and I personally take these contracts to that level where it's like, if you're not making money, neither am I. My customer service has to stay high, especially with scale. So how do we do that? Well, we learn the industry and the do's and don'ts, and that's what I did with that company.
Yeah, no, I think that's super cool experience, because you're kind of growing with a company. So you kind of see what works, what doesn't work, what are the pitfalls of growing too quickly. So then you can it looks like you've applied that to your own business. When I think about growing a company and scaling, the one piece I also kind of overheard you say was convincing people, like maybe they're in a long term, and have them change into a short term. So can we talk about that a little bit? Because I think that is there's acquisition for like a co-hosting business or a management company. I know there's probably a lot of different ways, but talking to an actual like customer, like how do you get them to agree? Hey, long term, it's a traditional thing. Everybody's done it forever. Like that's what everybody knows. In the short term, which is people are skeptical and people that it's not consistent, and it can be you kill it one month and it's slow another month. So how do you even have that conversation from like an acquisition standpoint to get people to kind of agree to kind of convert that over?
That's an amazing question. When it comes to a long-term rental, if you just share the facts, if we just hop into the finances alone, you are leaving money on the table every single month. So let's say you have a home, you can rent it out for $3,000 a month, right? Of that, you're paying, $2,200 towards your mortgage, a couple hundred more. So you get $500 a month in your pocket, right? That's great. You're building equity in your home, long-term, great investment. But the reality is you need 3 of those homes to make the same in cash on cash, the stuff you're taking home, not paying your bills, the stuff you're taking home, you're going to need 3 investments on that one short-term rental. So once we go in and explain that and clear the misconceptions of, if I take this into the short-term rental industry, my house is going to be ruined. People are going to be running through it and ruining my couches and my floors and my appliances. And it's just such a misconception, because when you do a long-term rental, you're giving up the rights to your home for 1 to 2 years. And it's like, see you soon. We'll see what happens. And majority of those times, they're not going to call you with a leaky sink. They're not going to call you when the fridge is something's weird behind the fridge. We have professionals in multiple times a week, making sure that these homes are top notch for them. Something breaks, guess what? We fix it, because that's how we maintain the high standards and high ratings we get. So the main thing is showing these people the actual cash potential that they can make off a short-term rental over a long-term rental, the usability of the home, so they're still able to say, hey, I want to book it for my friends and family whenever they want. And then the true care, the big misconception, how's my home going to get treated? 10 times better. Your home is going to be maintained way more. And we know what's going on every single week. There's no lingering, floods or a sink that's drippy and going into the drywall. There's none of that, because we know it, we see it, and we address it. And this stuff is real. I mean, we have houses that we've had it flooding in their crawl space, and they would never known if we weren't on top of it, worrying about the smell, making sure everything's perfect. So it's really about the education. How much money are they going to actually make? How well is the house going to be taken care of? And the access that they get to their home as well. So that's really how I focus in on getting people to change their idea of what a short-term rental is going to do for them and their home. Because the news is one thing, grain of salt. But the reality of this industry, and as you guys know, is it's amazing. It's amazing. And we're still so infant in this industry that things are changing, but the income is crazy. We have homes that I could be renting out for $45,000 a year, bringing in over 140. So it's like, that's 300, you're making 300% the money than you would off of a long term. So there's really no argument once we get into it, you know?
Well, that's very
sold.
hard to argue. Go ahead. I mean, you got a question?
Common sense.
No,
right?
I'm sold. That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah.
I mean, would you like an extra $100,000 in your pocket? No, yeah.
Nah, not me.
Let me show you how.
I mean, one house is equal to three. You want to go buy 3 houses in this market or just go buy 1 house? That's the question. And leaving that much money on the table is crazy. If we actually took it in stacks of ones and put how much money you would be making and how much money you are making, there's not one person, unless the rules and regulations don't fit for that area, that would be doing a long-term rental, in my opinion.
Well, I have some long-term rentals, and no, Travis, don't shoot me, brother. I have some short-term rentals too. So let me tell you,
my man.
But yeah, man, I sometimes not think back. I say, not back. I think sometimes, hey, should I be converting them? And I'm gonna be honest. So the one thing that stopped me is consistency, right? So I said, you know what? You need a base for me, right? Of saying I need to ensure that all my bills are paid, right?
Yeah.
Without anything. So now I have that consistent revenue that is very dependable to sit here and ensure that all this is all gravy. And then I take the short-term rental money and just gain on that, and kind of go from there. So I'm not opposed to long-term rentals at all, depending on the reasons why you're doing it, however, you are absolutely correct that it will take 3 to 1, and that's important for people to know for their situations. A lot of people really need to get out of a stressful job or get out of a stressful situation, or might have just came out of a marriage or something and need money, and it's easy to buy 2 properties than to buy 6. And 2 properties can get you right back and into the game. So hey, let's back this story up just a little bit and learn a little bit more about you, because you mentioned that you're from Colorado, right? And you love that place. I'm assuming you love Coach Prime. Is that right or not right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love him. He needs to get back to doing his job and stop chilling with The Rock and everybody else.
We ain't gonna talk about that, but I guess
hey, we're 3-0. Where are we at now?
Tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Yeah, man. So like I said, I was with a single father who was always working. And that's one thing he instilled in me, is a work ethic. At 12 years old, I had 6 different properties that I was mowing in my neighborhood, and those guys were paying me every 3 months. So I had the entire summer paid for in the beginning in my savings account, and we would come through. And this is a 12-year-old going and doing these yards every single week. So from there, I went on, and my dad he's done a lot of sales. I don't know if you could tell, but it runs in my blood. So he brought me to these things where he would go in just for extra income to sell this product. It was called Yakult. It's a probiotic drink. We would go into like Whole Foods or Sprouts and set up a stand. And this man would be slinging them. Everybody would be taking them. And I'm just watching him like, why is he a paint engineer and not just a full-on salesman with his life? He's killing this. So I really got that base off of my father and how that he worked himself. And that brought me to a tree farm. And I was 14 years old. I had a worker's permit. I was barely able to work. It's so limited. But I went there, and my job was to load up trees. That's all I was supposed to do. Help them load up trees, load up bushes. Within 1 week, I was a salesman driving around golf carts, marking trees, outselling 25 to 30-year-olds on this little tree farm. And that's where I really knew, like, I will be in sales in some way. My dad went into a job where he did very well, but he didn't use the talents that he had. If, say, he went into real estate back then, boy, I'd be just chilling on a beach right now. But But if he did that and used the skills
Dad.
that he acquired and had naturally, he would have made so much more money in his life and found that financial freedom just in a different, easier way. And I really believe the fact that sales was my way, and that's what got me into this. Is my dad, his work ethic, and how he pushed me. Being a single father, that wasn't easy for him. But having that man show me how to do business is the reason why I am where I am today. And I built success at such a young age. That and the fact that I had 3 kids before I was like 25. But
Yeah, that's impressive.
started young, man. I started
Yeah.
young, and needless to say, that wasn't planned either. But, you know, as a man, when you're building your family and you're building your legacy, it doesn't matter what time it comes. It matters that you're there when it shows up.
There you
And
go.
I was. And we got our family young. We're at a place in our lives that we're not together. Me and my ex are not together. We successfully completed our marriage. We had 14 years together, happy. And as we grew, we just grew apart and we didn't grow together. So we have 3 beautiful kids. She's got a wonderful home up here in Evergreen in the mountains, and so do I. So I'm 32 years old, chilling with people that are in their upper 40s, mid 40s, having these kids, because that's the income level of where we're at. You know, but starting early and getting into this whole, like, I have to make money for my family and not let my kids know that their dad's 20, that their dad is not college educated, that their dad is not struggling. That was what I wanted to project. And that takes hard work and dedication. And of course, you know, I'd never sit here and like talk crap about W-2s, but there's just so much more money to be made if you're running your own business, unless you're highly specialized in a job. There's just so much more to get paid off of working for yourself and not being there to make somebody else's their money. You know, that's what it's been all about.
So can we talk about that a little bit? So, because I like how you mentioned, like with your dad, he had a talent that maybe was underutilized, and he went with the safe route with like with his career. And what would you say to the audience? Let's say you have somebody in the audience, and they're they take the safe job, but they're super talented, and but they're maybe not going for it. What would you say to them?
Confidence. We have to find the confidence and the self-belief within what we are, who we are, and what we have to offer to take that initial step. Because it is a scary world, especially if you've been 9 to 5, you've got a great job, you've got health benefits, you're building your 401k, stepping out of that structure, stepping out of that stability. It's like Lenny and his long-term rentals. He has that base. That is his protection. And that's how a lot of people look at their W-2 jobs. So I'm not sitting here saying quit your W-2 job, but have the confidence to start taking action on what you're dreaming of. That is the biggest thing with anybody going into business, anybody going to live where they want to live and do the things they want to do in life. It's having the confidence to take that step and not just sit there and plan and think and desire and want and take no action. That is the main thing. You just have to have the confidence to take that first step and trust who you are. Believe in yourself. I mean, there's so many people with so many talents out there that never, ever, ever realize who or what they are, what they could have done with their only life. We have one life. And if we're not living it and we're not taking action to make sure that this life is everything we want it to be, because there's no guarantee of tomorrow, there's no guarantee where we're going after this. So it's like you have to take advantage of today and know that you're good enough to run your own business. Know that you're good enough to drive success today and for generations to come, because that's the difference. If you have that confidence, you can go to the moon. But if you're stuck in a W-2 and you don't have it, you're going to become stagnant, man. And that's what happens to a lot of people.
You're right. That confidence word, and I just wrote it down here and I kind of circled it on my paper, is very important. And just to add to that, people are going to say, well, how do I get the confidence? Right. And the confidence comes with experience and education. The more that you educate yourself and the more that you do is the more confidence you gain. Right. I tell my son a story all the time when he is doing something new. And the story I tell him is, one time you didn't know how to tie your shoe. I used to make him every day. He had to come downstairs on the steps. He used to cry every day. I hope he ain't listening. He had to cry every single day because he had to tie his shoe. But that was building his confidence that he can do it. So now I use that story with him with any new thing that comes up, so I'm happy that you was able to share that with the listeners, because that's what you need. You need that confidence to sit there and do your thing, right? So man, I talked to you a lot when we was in Austin. You didn't tell me all this. Like you're like
Hey, when we're at those
this,
events, we're working, man. I was sweating and working, running.
you know. So let's keep down this lane here. So obviously pretty cool. You learned something from your father, and you was able to take that. So what was like the first major business that you opened up, and what were some of the challenges that you was facing when you opened up that business?
Well, I mean, this story goes back to where I opened a moving company, and that moving company eventually transitioned into new contracts, which had the home theater. And at the end, we were doing all home theater. But I opened a moving company because that's where the money was at the time. I had some experience. I did some jobs with that, and it was something I got into, and I was able to make the money that my family needed to move forward. Was it my passion? Absolutely not. But it was something that was there. It was tangible. I had the skills to do so, and it brought my family to the next place. And that's really what that was all about. Do I love moving? Absolutely not. Do I love doing home theater? I mean, I'm good at it, but that wasn't my career. But that was what really got me into it. And with that came the challenges. I was young, really not educated in the business side of things, but I had passion and I had drive. And I would wake up every day and go put out, tear tags on apartment mailboxes and get on
Wow.
these different sites and be calling around. And I really did everything in my power just to drive business to it, to build something. It wasn't like I had this huge business plan or I had, big investors that came in. I needed to make money. And that's why I started that company, because I sucked at working for other people. I could not take a boss. Only Lenny, the boss, is the only boss I can handle.
Boom.
Boom. But no, man, I couldn't do it. So I realized early, man, I got to work for myself. We got to figure this out. And that's where it all started. And it was so many challenges and so many hurdles. But the main thing was a relentless drive for success and to be my own boss. Relentless. That's the word, is we didn't stop. We woke up every day. I was days I had myself and my guys doing 3 moves a day. Why? Because that was moving us forward. And that's with any business you get into, anything you get, whether you're working out or you're playing a sport or you're driving your business or you're raising your kids, teaching and having a relentless drive is one of the key things to success, in my opinion.
Can we talk about that a little bit? So, COVID happened, and it became sexy to be an entrepreneur and to leave a W-2. And then what's happened is now is like the whole grand exodus, and then time has passed, and now there's like a lot of data that's showing, hey, people are going back to their W-2s because they realize, oh, this is way harder than I thought. So can you talk about that, like the relentless piece, and anybody wanting to get started into entrepreneurship, like what it takes in order to be successful? Because I think people shouldn't take it so lightly. And so maybe you can kind of share that a little bit, your insight, and kind of like walk through how you then transition into like the management component of your business.
Okay. It's just like with anything. You're going to work harder when you work for yourself than you do showing up at a 9 to 5, period. But you're also going to find a completely different level of freedom, and you're able to choose your schedules and live the life you want to live. And if you want to take a vacation, you're able to make that stuff happen. But it also is a great responsibility. So people leaving their jobs when we had the gold, say with shorts and rentals, when it was the gold rush, COVID, everybody's occupancies were out the roof. That's when people were like, okay, this is going to be easy. This is going to be great. But then reality kicks in, and we got to actually work for this. We have markets that are saturated. We have homes that just don't have amenities. That we have companies that aren't driving success like they should be. So everybody gets into these things, and it's just like when you start your business, before you open the doors, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be grand. 1,000 people are going to show up. Then you open the doors, and that first day, nobody shows. Okay, that's the work that you need to take, because nobody's going to always show up. You can't guarantee that. The expectation is not always the reality. So it's that drive that we do and the continuing forward and saying, you know, this is the right idea. This is where I'm supposed to be. The W-2 is great and it supports my family, but this right here is going to support my family for generations to come. So it all comes back to that confidence, but you're right. A lot of people are having troubles because they got into something and they didn't have that structure. They didn't have the education, and going back to the 9 to 5 is easier and it's more comfortable. But people like us that are like, that's just not an option. I can never do that. I will never do that. It's not a part of me. Those are the people that drive success, in my opinion.
Jeez, boy, you're just packed with goodness today, my brother. This is like the young folks say. This is lit right now.
Bosses here. This is the group of bosses right here.
Like the young folks say, this is lit right now. You know.
Boom.
That's right, bro.
But I guess, you know, man. All right, let's keep going down this journey. So, you know, obviously we had the gold rush of COVID, you know, and we out of it. So what are some of the things you did that allowed you to sustain, you know, your business coming out of the gold rush, we're going to call it, for our era?
100%. Great question. When we were in it, everybody was happy. Once that came down is that max exodus we were talking about. And then it's like, okay, we really have to get to work. We really have to strategize to make sure we maintain the occupancy rates. Now, occupancy rates are down the board no matter where you go. But Colorado is a destination location. So there's cities out there like that don't have a lot of rules, that the saturation is heavy, and that's hard. But the way that we came out of it is, number one, and this is with any business, if you want to find success, you put your number one focus on customer service. Who's paying your bills? It's your guests, it's your customers. So we really, really focus hard on our customers, from video messages before they arrive to messaging them all the time. And if they have anything going on, being proactive and giving them what they need. So when they walk out that door, even if the power goes out, maybe the internet's down, which we had a whole area out here for an entire day. The issue with that is cell phone service isn't that good. So whatever you get, whatever you're dealing with, really having the customer service centered business to deal with those things, because that matters. Now, number two, and you guys know this, I've seen some of your places, amenities, amenities, amenities. You want to have on your board, whether it's direct booking or one of these sites, every single amenity that you can possibly have clicked, because that's what drives it. If you're going with your girlfriend out to Joshua Tree and she's like, I want a pool, you don't have a pool, boom, gone. You're not even an option for them. So really focusing on what amenities we have and what those amenities drive to our homes. We focus a lot on families because we're out here in the mountains. My whole business is really in the long term. When we're booking out 6 months, I want the families because they're planning, they're coming for a week plus, and they're definitely going to arrive because they're planning with the aunts and the uncles and everybody coming together. That's a great way for you to move forward, is focusing on these families. Now with Colorado being, you know, in the summer, everybody comes for mountain biking and whitewater rafting and hiking. And then in the winter, it's one of the best locations for skiing, period. So we're really in a unique place here to where our occupancy and our business didn't change as many as other places. But I think you guys can agree, we've had to push amenities more than ever before. Have you guys experienced that same thing as well in your markets?
Yeah, so I call it the amenities race. So at this point, it's just like almost you have to be ahead of the curve when it comes to amenities. You know, what worked a year ago doesn't work anymore. What worked 6 months, you got to revisit it. And I think it requires a lot of reinvesting into the business. Some people are willing to do it and some people are not. They don't want to put money into the business. But then it's like, well, if you don't put the money into the business up front, it's not going to make you money on the back end. And so you're going to be the property that's empty. If there's a last minute booking and it's between this property that has 5 more amenities than your property, guess what's being booked? And that happens week after week after week. And I see it firsthand. When I compare 2 properties that we have, and we have one that has a little bit more amenities at the same exact property. But guess what? Why does this one have 1,000, 2,000 more in revenue than this one is the same exact property. And so it's those little things that make a difference and allows you to kind of stay in business.
You're 100% right. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Amenities, and then really infrastructure, right? So we have all of our programs that, through my business, which of course we're running, we have our full portfolio, and then the coaching program, we have that full infrastructure of all the programs that we recommend that make people's lives easier, that make it so you can avoid a lot of those downfalls, a lot of those mistakes.
So can you explain what is STR Lifestyles? Like, what is that? Can you explain what that is?
I'm so glad you asked. Let's dive right into that.
Same question.
So STR Lifestyle Coaching is a brand where we are here to help new and budding entrepreneurs, to people that are looking to open their own short-term rental management companies, get into the industry, find the right investments, and help them grow their businesses while avoiding all of the unnecessary costs and mistakes we make when we don't have that education from the beginning. So we offer everything from single home reports. So you come to me, I've got this home, I really like it. Tell me about it. Tell me about the area. Tell me about the regulations of this area. Give me a rating on this home and what you think. And then, of course, the pro forma on what the comparables are in the area are. Two, we also have a package where you tell me the area, and we'll actually go in, and my team will find 5 to 8 homes for you that we give a full report on all those, and we rate them. So we say, this is the best that we think you should buy, and this one we don't really think you should, but it's going to be better than all of these other ones because of the availability, the friendliness of the area, and the viability of the business. That's one part of the business. When it comes down to our main thing, I coach people into getting into this business and creating their own company behind it. Whether they're looking to buy, arbitrage, or manage a portfolio of properties, I help them with that. And we give everything from our contracts to our pitch decks to all of the insurance companies we use, all of the different platforms, from our dynamic pricing to our PMS software, and we work through it. And the really, really unique thing about our program is I get in the dirt with you. I'm on the phones with you. We're doing it together. We're on a Zoom call just like this, and I'm getting the turndowns. They're saying, don't call me again. And then I'm also getting the wins with you. And once we have one of those wins and they're interested in what you have to offer, if we're trying to build up new contracts, we follow through. So we'll be there on the second call. We'll even be there when they're signing the contract for them. So our students can learn exactly what to say, exactly how to approach people, and exactly how to start managing with success once they land these contracts. So it's really from start to finish, one-on-one. We're here for you. And a lot of the time you're going to get me or my partner, Derek. So it's a cool brand. And we're taking it from the classroom of 18 people where you get general information and have to take action yourself to, no, I will hold your hand and help you take action, and we'll do it together. So that's how we base our entire program over.
I like that. And when you say contracts, are you talking about arbitrage units or?
So whether it's getting an arbitrage going, getting your own home going through creative financing and getting in that, or a lot of the time with the students that I have, they're trying to build their own company in the area that they're in. So we're out making calls to those long-term rentals and saying, hey, be a short-term rental. And this is why we're better. This is how we can drive your occupancy more and be way better than any company that you guys have around there. And then follow through so that person can go and manage that company and build their business themselves. So we're really a business creator as well. So what I've done with business development, I've taken that and put it into a program to help people that, like, I've got a guy right now, he's in a W-2, amazing job. He's in New York, actually, so he's going to be working all around New York, which is really blowing up since they banned it over there. And I'm helping him every step of the way. So we get on a call for an hour. We have a list of phone numbers that we're calling, and we get into it and we dive deep. And then we get a yes, this sounds great, let's follow up. And we're going every step with him until he's literally onboarding that property to his program.
Nice.
I like that. I think it's there's a lot of coaching programs, and these coaching programs, they're these really, the curriculum is equivalent to what you can find on YouTube, and a lot of times the person who's a specialist, it's hard to kind of get them available to kind of help you one-on-one. And I feel like the feedback a lot of times is, well, I need more hand-holding. So I think that your program seems like it allows somebody to kind of begin from step one to the close. And acquisition is such an important component of it. That's just hard to do, whether that's, like you said, whether it's creative finance or it's arbitrage or whatever it is specifically. But if you have somebody who can show you how to do that, just like you said, the model piece, right? Like your dad was a model and like showing you like selling, and then you kind of like absorb that. And I think I learned from modeling myself. So I think that's a great way to kind of learn. So, what's next for you? So like, what's next for like your business ventures as far as like where you are currently? I know you talked about the STR lifestyle, but is there anything else kind of going on in the horizon?
100%. I mean, if we're not growing, what are we doing? So we have this program, the STR Lifestyle Coaching. This is what I'm passionate about. I want to help people grow. I believe in the giver's gain mentality. I believe if you put your energy out to good, it will come back. And I know Lenny's got that on his way after seeing you teach those kids. Good job for you on that, man.
Thanks, man.
Got to teach this youth, man. It's a crazy world we live in. But I truly believe in giver's gain. So that's why I started the coaching program. Of course, we're not volunteers. We're here to make money. But helping people grow is critical towards our future success. And that's why I have the STR Growth Summit. That's why we're doing things, bringing people together to learn. But my plan overall, I mean, I have a successful company. We're currently going through an acquisition. We're merging with another company that's larger, has a higher infrastructure, and will let me focus more on what I love doing. And that's helping develop businesses and helping other people grow in the business. The big statement you guys heard, and I know you guys remember this, was collaboration over competition. I don't look at anybody as a competition. I want us all to grow together. But the sky is the limit. I want to have one of the bigger STR conferences out there that brings the most tangible and best information to people, where they're walking away saying, holy cow, I have that confidence because of the education I received, right? Because that's what it's all about. But the goal is just to keep growing and to keep helping other people grow and to become a large part of this industry and really, really advocate for the industry and help people grow in it as well. So that's all I can say towards that, my guys. Just keep growing and keep moving up.
There you go. Keep moving up, keep growing. Man, I love it. STR Lifestyle Coaching. I even like the name. Hold your symbol up, man. So everybody get. So for the audience who can see, he got the symbol. He's a walking advertisement for his own business, which is super important.
Just like you guys, living billboards. Here's a good one as well. Get a QR code on all your shirts.
Oh, that's
nice.
good. I haven't seen that before. That's good. Smart.
Super.
So when you're out and about, we go to these conferences. We have all these mixers. You don't want to watch phone. You're just like, yep.
Yeah, here we go. Hit it right here.
Look at the guns.
You gotta show them the guns. Here you go. Boom. Hey,
that's a great way to go. If you own your own business, consider yourself a living billboard. If you don't have your gear on, which you guys always do, especially when you're out working, you're not representing what you're there for. And I truly believe, whenever I go out, wherever I go to, whether it's VRMA, the STR Wealth Conference, wherever we end up, we need to be there really repping to the core of what we do, because you guys have an amazing business and you guys have something to be proud of. And this right here, having your logo and becoming known, it's a business driver. But on your next shirts, QR codes all day. And then Lenny, you can wear it in the gym when you're working out and stuff.
And you're boxing
with the guns.
Yeah, get your guns out.
That's funny. So quick question for you. What does find your freedom mean to you?
Finding my freedom is building generational wealth, taking care of the family and the people that are important to us, while being able to truly enjoy the better things in life. Everything takes work. We have to spend our time working. That is a huge part of happiness, because without money, it gets really hard. But what is important to me and my freedom is being able to go and enjoy my kids and enjoy my family at a time when I want to make those choices, because I've worked hard enough to have the ability and the financial freedom to do so. I think that's all of our goal, right? We want to have the best life, the best experience, and give our kids the best possibility they can to drive success as well.
That's beautiful. So how can people connect to you if you're not in one of the mountains in Colorado? How do we find you?
Absolutely. So we are a nationwide coaching program. We are not just based out of Colorado. We do it anywhere in the United States, and we're happy to say we do. So if you want to go directly to my website, it's strlifestylecoaching.com, but you can also find us on the social feeds, and it's STR Lifestyles, but not with an E, with a Z. STR Lifestyles with a Z. And yeah, we'd love to, if If what I've said today is tugging on your heartstrings, if you're interested in growing your own business and having somebody beside you to have your back, to be there with you and help drive that success, give us a call. We have consultations. We're not going to charge you anything till we're sure of what you want and where you want to be. At the end of the day, we are here to help.
Awesome. All right, man. So we're coming to the end of the show. And what we like to do is we like to sit here and bust some speakers out. So what we're going to do is on a count of 3 in a uniform manner, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and all of us going to say boom as loud as we can.
Let's go.
Listeners, I'm telling you right now, turn your radio down. All right, because it's about to go down. All right. Y'all ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Check this out, man. We just had a great, fantastic episode with our guy, Travis, man. And I'm telling you, check out his STR Lifestyle Coaching. It's absolutely amazing. He said, hey, give him a call. It's free, charge. Have a conversation with him and his team to see if y'all guys are a good fit. And if so, make it happen. Because there's only one way to make it happen is by taking action. Now, we need you to listen to this episode and leave us an honest 5-star review. That's the way that we're able to bring on more guests like Travis and bring just more people to do one thing, to help you in your journey. And what we like for you to do is subscribe. We like for you to share. We like for you to share this with your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, your mother, your sister. All right. Share it with all your coworkers, the ones that you like and the ones that you don't like. Until the next episode of Find Your Freedom, we talk to you soon. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Find Your Freedom. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. While you're at it, please help us spread the word by leaving a rating and review and sharing the podcast with friends, family, and colleagues. Until next time, get out there and find your freedom.